All right, good morning, guys. I just woke up here, and in the mornings it can get a little bit stuffy. So usually I'll turn on the vent fan, try to clear out some of the condensation, and I'll just crack this front door over here, and that'll usually help out with the condensation. In the morning, it can get pretty chilly as well. Like right now, it can get around 40 degrees, and I'll have my jacket on, I'll have some sweatpants on. I don't like to sleep in them because it's not as comfortable, but I will put them on as soon as possible so that I don't freeze out here. And as far as the bed, I have kind of this synthetic down blanket over here, this comforter, which is pretty convenient. And I also have this nice REI sleeping bag, which keeps me warm down to like 20 degrees or so. Let's see. Now at this point, I actually usually don't pack up all my stuff. I'll just leave it out here because I know I'm gonna sleep, later tonight. But if I wanted to, I'll show you later how I actually pack it up so that it's more compact. All right, so up next, I'm going to head somewhere to brush my teeth. Now I could do it in my van, but if I'm going somewhere anyways, like if I'm going to work or I need to be somewhere, or I will just go to a Starbucks because it'll be easier. Like it'll have, I don't have to keep filling up my water because they'll have running water. It'll be quicker usually because I can just lay my stuff out. Another factor is that this van doesn't have a gray water tank, so it is sort of noticeable if I end up using the sink in here. However, where I live, it's pretty rainy, so usually it doesn't even matter because no one will notice anyways. And if I park on a street, usually there's gonna be some sort of drainage there anyways. All right, so I'm gonna head out now. All right, so I'm up front and I'm gonna drive to work today. I can end up crawling up front through this layer if it's raining outside. I just, pull back the curtain, come out. Other than that, let's go. All right, so I have just arrived at my parking spot, and now I gotta get dressed for work. All right, so I'm wearing sweatpants right now, and I'm gonna have to change into some pants and some, put some socks on and some nice shoes. So, remember how I said earlier that I keep my van basically with the bed down all the time, just because, it takes, 5 minutes to like pack everything up, and I'd rather let my blankets air out at night. So one of the side effects is I can't actually access those bins. If some of you remember in my van tour video, those bins, you need the bed set up as the couch to access. So here's what I came up with instead. So over here I have basically like all my socks, shirts, and underwear, right here. And then behind that, I have another bin that I could just take out, which just has all my dirty clothes in them. So today, I've already changed into my fresh shirt, so I'm just gonna put some socks on. These nice wool socks over here. And close that up. And over here, so I have two bins over here, and this one over here contains some of my, like rarer clothes, less often used. Like I got a dress shirt in there, like shorts in this weather, hardly ever use them. And then over here I have another bin that just has things like, sunscreen, stuff like that, a towel, and I can just keep that there. So these are nice because I can actually access them while I'm in the van, and it makes it nice and easy to access, like while I'm dressing, for instance, today. So yeah, today I'm just gonna grab my work bag, and then I'm gonna take my, toothbrush stuff, and let's go. All right, so wearing real pants now, which is nice. I need to change the shoes though, so let me show you where I keep my shoes. All right, so now that I'm wearing pants, I now need to change my shoes. So I actually keep my shoes up in front, just in the passenger well, since it's usually just me. So I have a bunch of shoes to choose from. I'm gonna go with the Vans today. All right, toss the Crocs out in there, and that should be good. Grab my keys, wallet, ear pods, my work bag, my toothbrush stuff. So let's go. All right, so I'm all done with that. Got it all packed up now, and just want to say that one of the reasons why it takes a little bit longer than it used to when I had my own place is because I have to go and dry everything off. So, you know, like my toothbrush, my contact lenses, anything I touch that ends up getting a little bit of water on it, I end up having to dry before I put it in the bag. Because, you know, if you put wet stuff in the bag, it's gonna get like mold and stuff like that. So, gotta make sure it's dry first. All right, so my day's over now, and as you can see, I'm one of the last cars in this parking garage, so I'm just gonna go ahead and get changed into kind of post-work clothes, and I'll meet you there. One thing I want to note is that when I first started doing this, I was wearing my shoes basically all day, and one of the downsides of doing this is that your shoes don't really get enough time to air out overnight, and so they can start building up like foot odor, and it can start, you know, getting kind of funky after a while. And I ended up solving this by just buying multiple pairs of shoes and cycling them. Also not wearing these shoes basically all day long. At the end of the day, I'll just switch into these Crocs over here. And you know, these shoes look pretty funky, but they're basically the most like convenient thing I've ever done. And I'll just like go out in these things too, you know, I'll just go shopping, do my stuff in these shoes. You can wear them into the showers at the gym, right, which is nice because you can protect your feet. And yeah, they're just comfy and nice and aerated. So that's how I solved that problem. All right, and right before I sleep, on a typical day, I'll turn in by going to the gym. So got my change of clothes that I'll put in here, and I got kind of this stuff for showering. Now I'm gonna whip up like a pre-workout and some protein shake right here. Cool, done. I'm gonna shake that up, and I'm gonna feed my plants. So I have this succulent over here. Just a little bit of water, not too much. And yeah, I got this guy back when I was looking to see if anything would reduce the amount of CO2. And it turns out I would need something like 10 succulents to make a difference, so I just kept this guy because it adds a little bit of class. All right, I'm all set. So I got my gym bag here, and yeah, I'm gonna go to the gym, gonna work out, then I'm gonna shower, and then I'll be ready to go to sleep. So I just finished with the gym, and my hair is super crazy right now. Now the next part is to drive off and find a place to park. All right, so I'm all parked right now. If you've made it this far, thanks a lot for joining me through the random moments of a typical day living in my van. I hope that was useful or somewhat interesting for you guys. The last thing I want to talk about is how I find parking. So, you know, I've parked in a lot of places by now. I've parked in the city, on busy streets. I've parked in parking garages. I've parked, you know, on quiet side streets. And of course, I've parked out in nature when camping. And by now, I definitely have some favorite spots. I have some techniques on finding spots. And there's definitely plus and minuses to all of these. So for instance, parking in the city is pretty convenient if I want to wake up and do something nearby. And I can usually park for free up till a certain time in the morning, like 7 or 9 a.m. depending on where it is. The downside is it's usually pretty noisy. So I don't really enjoy doing that too often because I'll have to sleep with earplugs in. As far as underground parking, that's a pretty nice option if it's really cold outside because it tends to be warmer inside the parking garage. The downside is that it's artificially lit, so there's no day-night cycle, and that sort of messes with my sleep. One of the things I really like about sleeping outdoors is that there's enough light that enters from kind of the cracks here and from the vent fan that helps me wake up in the morning. And without that, it's just not as nice of a sleeping experience. And then finally, there's sort of sleeping in the quieter streets, further away from the road. I gotta say that's my favorite so far. It's just hard to find these spots because I don't really want to park in front of someone else's house. And and also another good thing is that I never park in the same spot more than a couple days in a row as well. Just so that no one's like, oh, what's that van doing there all the time? A nice way to find some of these spots is to open Google Maps and just sort of zoom in on satellite view and look for areas where there are a lot of cars parked on the side of a street that isn't in front of a house. There's a lot of these places next to like construction sites and things like that, and those can be really nice to park at. Finally, there is parking in parking lots. So most like malls and things like that don't allow overnight parking, but some gyms run 24 hours a day, and I have had pretty good luck parking there, and I notice I'm not the only one as well. So I'll leave it at that. Thanks so much for watching this video, and if you have any other questions, please leave it in the comment section and I will get back to you. See ya.